Right, what's up? How's everybody doing? Oh my gosh. Let's see. We are back. Welcome on in. That not working. That's interesting. All right. Well, 1 second. Hey, that worked a little bit better. Welcome on in. Technical difficulties right at the beginning of the stream. Why not? Hey, welcome back. Sorry I missed y'all on Friday. I was out and about. Apparently I had accidentally traveled to the center of the Warhammer 40k universe, otherwise known as Tacoma, because, hey Panda, because Tacoma was where a big tournament, the first tournament of the new 40k edition was happening this weekend. So that was fun. But yeah, so now I'm back, gonna paint up some Battletech, get back to it. Panda, how was your weekend? I had fun at your stream. What was that? Was that Friday? I don't even remember. No, it couldn't have been Friday. It had to have been like Thursday. You were partying. I loved your what was it? The oh man, you had a voice changer. Your audience kept making your voice like super high pitched. It was pretty hilarious. Okay, I just shifted all my desk around because that's what I do. Actually, I did it because my wife was no longer using a monitor in her office, and I stole it so I could have it here, which is way more convenient, except I don't have... Why does it still say co-work? I think that's actually just title. Let's see. Or it just didn't save an update. Technology. Yep, it's on the right thing. I think I'll need that, but we'll leave it up just in case. All right, so we're gonna jump in. We've got a few things on the table today. We've got the handy dandy palette mode engaged because apparently people really like to see that. So I'm here for the people. Where's the camera? Oh my gosh, I know how to do this. That's not gonna work because my camera really wants to focus on the other things. But yeah, there's that. Ooh, that sounds yummy. We had a lot of buffet style wedding food, so you know, can't say that's my favorite, but it was really good. I got to see my wife, I got to see my niece get married. She liked it. Her and her partner have been together for a long time, so it was nice to see them finally get to enjoy their time and have a big party, so that was fun. All right, trying to decide what I'm going to start on. I think I am going to start with... I'm going to start with regretting how far my paints are away. That's okay. I will fix that. Maybe monitor in the middle, paints on both sides. Anyway. Swirl. what I want. Neutral gray. That'll work. Neutral. Good. Oh. Bright neutral gray and of my new best friend. One step. Okay, so we're gonna start with the weapons on these. Go ahead and put my goggles of seeing on here, so see a little bit better. We're gonna just start with this one since it's already on the palette. A little bit of gray. Put just a little bit of this up there so it's not getting mixed in with everything yet. Nice thing is this satiny paint pretty good job of self-highlighting for me. There's not a lot of this, although just as I said that, I realized part of this mech I did not prep. I need to do those weapon bays. I should just fix that now. The satin black is fine. There, drip. Well done. That's fine. That's good. And while that dries, we'll fix fence up here. Probably accidentally wet blending that because it's wet. But I am impatient. Elbow joints. Okay, so the disadvantage of using the satin paint is they are shiny, and once you put the gray paint on it, you can't tell what you've painted. That's a choice. All right. Eventually, I will paint. Actually, could go back and just do those all black, but I think I'm not going to. I am going to paint the inside of those black though. All right, he's done. Next, the ice ferret. More of this. Missed painting a laser. Oh, one. Else here? I think it's like maybe a machine gun. Are those like two small lasers there? Almost can't tell. I'm looking at what I'm gonna have to do for the cockpit here in a minute. Okay, last. Definitely not least, this guy is a beast. Okay, that's done. Now we're gonna shift into a little bit of this bright neutral gray. We'll just plop that down right in the spot. Boop. Come on, I don't need much. Smaller brush. We're gonna go, whoa, did I not clean this? Still looks very black. 1 second. Brush cleaning protocols engaged. Put that away before I ruin it. Okay, finger guns. We are going to do a even smaller brush. Who is it? 9, I think. And now we're just doing like the extreme highlights here, so be nice and gentle with these. Oh, thanks, Sarybot. I thought somebody had something useful. Do. And then most importantly is really keeping these small. Don't want to overdo this. Oh. Again, just kind of an extreme little edge highlight, make it look shiny. Little dots. Little dots. How do we want to do? I like this chill EDM playlist I got going on. It's pretty. Oh, a mess. I'm gonna erase the paint we just put in there. Sometimes if you get to it fast enough, get to the acrylics before they dry, and then just some plain water will suck them right back out. Well, it'll reactivate the paint and then suck it right back out. And then to the linebacker. Does a linebacker have like a clan name, or is linebacker the actual name? Never remember. So one of the things I kind of disagree with the Battletech lore at this point is, you know, it kind of made sense like when the clans invaded the Inner Sphere, there was like that time of confusion when they didn't know what everything was called. Right, that's why we have like the Timberwolf and the Mad Cat. Like there was a lore reason for that, and it made sense at the time. But especially now, like the current era Battletech is in is 100 years past that time, right? So it happened well in antiquity at this point. I missed those. Actually, I can. And so now, like, why doesn't everybody just call everything by the actual intended name? Why must we still be calling things by two names? One of my peeves with the Battletech universe. But it will never go away. It will always be that way. That looks good. And last. And this should be pretty small. It is just the quote-unquote extreme edge highlight. And on this arm, I have barely enough paint left here to finish this. All right, that's all the black done. Now, do we want to move on to red stripes or do we want to do cockpits? I think cockpits is always like super fun. It's one of my favorite parts. So we're going to do red stripes first. Get it out of the way. I'm going to start with this red oxide, I think. I think it's the right way to go. Nice deep red. And one of the tricks here is it will be nice and easy to cover if we end up messing it up. It's not too far off from our brown. Now the second trick here is finding a brush. I think this is the right one. Will give us a nice stripe. That one actually will give nice width. So one of the tricks here, so one of the things you want to do when you're trying to paint a stripe, I'll demonstrate it here on the corner here, is you want a brush that when you push fairly hard, not too hard, you don't want it to splay out. Let me get that back. And I mean, actually you can see it in the palette too, but the goal is you want it so you can just press down nice and firm and then just draw it. Oh my. So my hand moved a little bit, but you can see there. So if it wasn't quite so shiny, it's actually a really pretty good stripe. And so that's kind of the goal you're going for when you're trying to paint, like freehand something like a stripe. And then I actually am reminding myself that I had a good amount of caffeine for lunch here. So then let's see. I think what I like the idea of is that as the anchor. And I kind of like this model for this because it has a built-in stripe. I'm kind of cheating here. Sue me. Actually, please don't. Okay, so he's got some nice stripes there on his forearms, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take some bold red and we're gonna get rid of this. Drop there, and then we're gonna switch down to this smaller brush. And we're gonna enhance this red a bit. And just going over both, I'm not necessarily trying to cover the entirety of the original stripe I did, but if I do, I don't care. If I don't, it makes kind of a nice visual, more visually appealing, but if I do, I do. One thing I probably should have done first, I forgot that I didn't do it on this Mac. I did it on a couple of my others already. But I'll fix that now. I'm going to do a little bit of Skeleton Legion and a little bit of Technical Medium. And what this is going to do is I'm just going to create a wash to throw over the Gladiator and the Phoenix Hawk to see. They did not get this treatment, the other mechs have. And all this is a wash. Is a wash in order to tie all the browns back together. Kind of like putting a filter over them. Nice and thin. I'm gonna go ahead and go over the stripe I just did. It's not gonna hurt anything, but I might brighten it up. Just trying to stay off of the grays. Kind of my one caveat there. Right, that's fine. We'll let that dry. It's gonna take a little bit. It is contrast paint. That stuff tends to dry a little slow. But it will give it a look more like this. So it kind of ties all the browns together. Brings the tone of it down just a notch. And it's especially important because the first mech in this batch that I painted, the Mad Cat, I have a bit more of a subdued brown color scheme. It's not as bright as what these later ones came out of. So this also helps to get it closer to matching. You could do this in a lot of different ways too. Like you could do an Agrax Earthshade would probably get you pretty close to this. The one thing I do like about contrast paint instead of using a wash is the stain effect. It's more consistent. You do have to be careful if you're not familiar with contrast paints. They're not all created equal. Some have a lot more, are a lot more opaque than others, and so you really have to make sure of that before you do this. Right, so that'll look good. That'll dry up, and then it won't quite match. Like I still am a little bit more of a reddish brown, and there's more of the brown undercoat, but that'll be fine. It always happens when you do like your first model. You always kind of wander from that formula a little bit. So live with it. All right, we're gonna go back to the red stripes now. Already in progress, and we want one. I decide I'm gonna do some glow effect on these PPCs. And so that means I probably want the stripe someplace where it's not gonna be obliterated by that effect. So I'm gonna do it a little bit higher on the arms. And technically it doesn't have to be on the arm. There's nothing that says the stripes on the arm, but for whatever reason, that's what I'm digging on, and so I'm just gonna cut it. Then I'm gonna break my rule about dragging the brush because it's hard to get in there. All right. Got a message from one of my buddies. We're going to start a Frostgrave campaign here soon. Oh. Why did that sound get turned back on? That's weird. Anyway. I've been putting together some medieval foot soldier miniatures to create a warband out of. Looking forward to that. That's a fun game. And any legitimate excuse I can get to paint historical models, I'm there for it. Don't really need a lot of the bright red on the inside of the arm. It's gonna basically be a shadow area anyway. Really the same for the bottom of the arm, but I am a perfectionist, so I gotta paint it anyway. All right. Do this other one since he's dry. I'm not sure where to put. I guess the first stripe's pretty obvious. And that one's pretty far back. Probably on this part of the arm. A lot of bumpy detail there that makes it kind of hard to paint through. Not perfect, but at least gives the hint of the stripe in there. And just bring it up to my brighter red. Okay. One more arm to do, and then I think it'll be time to paint some cockpits. One of my favorite parts of Battletech miniatures. Definitely painting the cockpits. Let's see. So this one I'm gonna do kind of a little farther back. And then I think that means this here. That'll work pretty good because we have a nice actual detail here. We can just paint in stripe. I like that. So it's convenient. Thanks for that very convenient detail, Catalyst. Sometimes you have to do the most random contortion. Get some of these spots painted. Right. I'll add some of the brighter red. And the arm stripies will be done. All right, there's his arms done. Let's start thinking about what we want to do for these cockpits. So, what we ended up doing here on this Mad Cat, I was going for kind of a mirrored effect. And so what we're looking at there is, like, if there's a bunch of trees and kind of a sunset in the distance, was kind of the effect I was going for there. The sunset, I don't know if I really liked it. In fact, I might actually undo it on this and redo it a different color. But otherwise, it's kind of a green on the bottom, so it's trees, and then sky effect. There is did kind of a purplish, but I think the purplish kind of gets sucked into all the browns. So I'm gonna do something a little bit different. I'm going to start with the linebacker because it is going to be by far the easiest. You know what? Hold, please. I need to paint some missiles. Sorry for my head being in the way there, but gotta get really close to see these properly. Have to do just a little bit of cleanup. Hey, Cranston. And so you have to paint a yeoman, yeah, or a longbow. I guess the longbow still probably doesn't beat the yeoman. How many missiles does the yeoman have? It's a lot. Too many. Okay, now we can do some cockpits. So. Do it. We got some 50. Isn't that what the longbow has? 2 LRM-20s and 2 LRM-5s in the body. So yeah, they're just as bad as each other. And then there's the Bane, but if I remember when I painted the Bane, it doesn't have all the missiles showing. So the Bane's not quite as bad. All right, sunset. Yeah, if I remember correctly, the yeoman just looks like it manages to make 50 missiles look like 100. fine. You can stay. So we got some green. We're gonna do a little bit of purple and a little bit of pink. I think I might actually start by just doing the whole thing. Which honestly, it almost is. And we're gonna go in with this green. That's gonna be a little bit of like a jaggedy tree shape here. Honestly, that would probably almost entirely be sky if you really think about how reflections work. But you know what? We're not trying to be hyper realistic here. We're trying to make cool, right? It's the rule of cool. So we're gonna go a little more cool than realistic. A little bit of this bright green. For some highlights. Try not to overdo it. And then let's see, in the sky here, let's mix up a little bit of this red and pink. We add a little bit of this purple in there. Little cloud shapes. And just keep adding more pink in. I'm going to take a little bit of this bright green and just very edge. I think that's trying to tell me just to use a smaller brush, bro. I'm going to bring it up to just a few little pink dots, and then I'll probably cover the whole of the upper part in some sort of purple filter to tie it all together. And for the purple filter, we'll just use a little bit of this Majos purple. We will add it to... Ooh, no, that doesn't look good. That's been sitting on the palette too long. Never mind. Oh, a nice thin bit of contrast paint there, so I can just go over it. This is kind of experimental for me. It's not normally how I would do a cockpit, which is why I wanted to do it. I saw... What did I see? Arclight Miniatures, who also streams on occasion. He's a CSO painter, Camel Specs Online. I saw him do kind of mirrored cockpit glass, and I thought, yeah, that'd be fun to try. I gotta give that a try. And so that's what we're doing. It's gonna be kind of a waste on these smaller guys. I think decide how I want it. I think what we'll do here is just do a tad of green. And then we'll just transition to this purple at the upper. A little bit of pinkish in the corner. That's really all we can do because those windows are so small. I guess now that I'm looking at it, I think that's supposed to be a small laser on his head, so I need to go back and clean that up. I've been kind of ignoring that lump this whole time. And apparently I gotta stop ignoring it and do something about it. Alright. We've got slightly bigger windows on this one. But only so much. A little bit of purple up in the top. And if I'm being honest, I'll probably be the only person that actually knows that that's there, but that's okay. This one's got a little more space for detail, but not much. So I'm just going to put this purplish pink in the top. Because again, there's just not much we can do with it. Going to be some tiny little green, bright green dots. We'll call it good. Yeah. I don't know if I would choose that color again, but it was fun to give it a try. All right, there's the 5 of these. They're all looking pretty close, pretty good. One of the next big things to do is weapons, and then heat sinks, and then we've got to go in. What am I trying to say? So we're gonna go in and add some shadow. Let's do. Well, the weapons and the heat sinks both are gonna kind of play off the same thing. So let's do that. We're gonna need some oil paint. Let me grab a couple things. Oh, I put the oil paint. And I don't always love having to break out the white spirit, but this is undeniably a good effect. You can also do this with white ink. I don't have a strong preference. I like the oil paint just a little bit better. Both will technically work. So starting off with just a beat up old brush here, and then what we're gonna do, we have a nice thin runny white paint. Get a small brush that I don't care a ton about. And then fill that brush up. This is almost too successful. Just trying to decide if I'm thinking of these as exhaust or vents, in intakes or exhaust. I'm gonna just, in my head, they're gonna be intakes. So I'm gonna leave it, set that one aside, keep moving. POC, I think you can see it there. How that oil paint just sucks right off the brush right into the crevices you need it, which is super useful for this. And then I've got two. Little teeny tiny red spot there. What do we got that looks like heat sinks? Not a lot, but it'll add a nice detail. And then finally, linebacker should have quite a bit more. Oh, this guy's gonna get a lot of glowy effect. That'll be fun. I just have to decide what colors I'm gonna do it. Like, do I do it? Because I think I'm gonna do the weapon a little bit like a blue glowy. These look like PPCs most likely. I can double check. Or do I get creative and do it like a little bit of both? I'm not sure. Like that'll be more like fire colored. But I could either do the arms like electrical blue, or I can more of like a fire color. I could technically do them both. I probably won't though. I'm lazy. And then just clean up this brush and it should be fine. They are PVCs? Okay, I thought they were. So then the big question becomes like, do I do like all glowy PVC effect? Could be fun, right? Or do I do it like heat transfer, like heat sink effect? Sure. When it dries, I'll make that decision. But while we're waiting for that to dry, we'll move on to the shadow lining phase here. All right. Actually don't really need that there. What we're gonna do, so my formula for doing shadow lining is usually contrast paint of some sort. For the legs, I'm gonna start with this black. We'll kind of go from there. What I'm really looking to do is just on the mech, there's a bunch of moving parts. The feet are separate from the knees are separate from the hips, or the upper leg, I guess. So the real goal here is just to put in some of this to separate them out, make them look like they're not connected to each other, which they, you know, obviously are. It's a mixture, but is just add some depth. Which to me is important. I think it makes it make the models look more finished. I could use like a nice thinned down black paint here would work too. I like doing this waist joint, I think is important. My goal is just kind of add shadow wherever I feel like it's missing. Okay. Like this spot here where the shoulder meets the body. And, you know, I'm gonna mess up a little bit here and there. It's not gonna be a big deal. Really just trying to make it look like this thing's not molded in one piece. Yes, of course. Reality. Oh, and one of the big ones. Lines on the cockpit. Mech has so much cockpit. I feel like it's got like a comes with an Olympic pool or something. Luxurious. Alright, so under the shoulder things is about done. I think I did both of the arm joints. Let me double check the legs again really quick. A couple spots there, and then I think I could pretty much let this one go. Oh, actually I need to look into these missile pods. I think I looped a couple of them here. The other nice thing about the contrast paint, it's pretty good at just going back and cleaning up some of those spots. Starting to come together. All right, up next, Phoenix Hawk 2Z. And these air intakes. For the totally, I didn't start life as a Veritech jump pack here. And this is also really good. Like, I don't know if you're like me. I think a lot of people have this where like you paint a lot of the model looks really good, but it always feels like where two things meet. I don't know. Sometimes I just feel like I don't like it as much as I could. It could look better. This is a great way to clean that up too. Yeah, I wish I mean, I kind of am the same. I feel like though this does help to push the contrast really well for stuff on the table, but I don't know. I probably do obsess about the close-up details a little too much. I blame doing macro photography. I always take these photos and I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe what that looks like close up. I'm probably the only person that'll ever see that if I don't post it on Instagram. Yeah, that's a problem with spending too much time on Instagram getting inspiration is, oh, everybody's so much better at this than me. I gotta do more. I gotta do extra. The curse of social media. that spot between the body so he looks like he can actually torso twist. Oh gosh. What's going on? My stream manager had wandered away from the live stream for some reason. I think I am just about done with this one. Oh. Left his other arm. All right. I like too, this one's got some nice big panels for me to put decals on. I always like that. Some Macs you look at them, you're like, oh, there's no room for decals on this thing. I'm gonna have to use micro miniature decals. Which I've got, but sometimes they're no fun to try to cut out and work with. Nice pronounced leg joints, just deepen those up just a little bit, they'll look great. There. Spot across the top of that knee joint just to separate it out. Add a little more pop to those fingers. knee joint. This one honestly didn't need a ton. Okay, I think that looks good. And finally, the gladiator. Oh. Those a little bit so they are nice. Give them some nice deep contrast. I like that look. We need a little bit on the top of the leg joint. And we're gonna brighten those up anyway, so that's fine. Let's see. Here, oh, there's a nice deep crack there that we need to do. At the bottom of the body. And these knees. This arm's about it. I think Done with this. Okay. I'm happy with that. Let me do this really quick. We are going to this brush. Up the contrast paint before I knock it over on myself. Alrighty, and then we're gonna take a super short break. I'm gonna go get some fresh water. I'm gonna clean out some brushes and my palette, and then we will be back. What's next? We've got cockpits, we got details, got all that stuff. I feel like there's a big step I'm missing and I'm forgetting what it is. Can't be too much more though. Oh yeah, weapons. We got to do weapon glow. We got to do the heat exhaust glow, and then we'll probably do the basing first so it can dry while we do everything else. So yeah, I'll be back in just a couple minutes. Where is my break screen? And nope. Right, I'll be back in just a couple minutes and then we'll continue finishing this up. All right. Here for a second. Oh, stretch the back. All right, well, we're about 2 hours in. We've got some glow effects to do. We've got some weapon effects. Should be good stuff. I got the palette all cleaned off, so it's ready to go again. And yeah, we're starting to get down there. We're starting to get to the point where these are going to be done. And then it'll be time to move on to the next project. And then obviously we got decals to do too, so I'll have to figure out the decals on these. But I don't know. We might make decals today. We'll see. Haven't decided yet. Gotta fix this camera. Without breaking, don't break. Okay. So, okay, yeah, we're gonna do the diorama stuff. Let's flip over there. So, this is basically what I use for all my base. Some variety of this, right? Doesn't have to be too crazy. I don't really overthink it. I just need some texture. Sometimes I'll add some extra little bits like this Mad Cat. You can kind of see it's got some cork on the base that I added as a rock. Sometimes I do that, sometimes I don't. Kind of depends on what I'm in the mood for. This should go fast. I'm just going to use this messed up brush that I just went and cleaned the oil paint out of. This is my go-to, just not in a good brush anymore brush, which everybody needs one of those. I'm going to smoosh this on here. Hi, buddy. Maximus wants me to take a longer break. Hi, buddy. Hi, kitty. What you up to, guy? Okay, those are all done. You know what? Really quick, we're gonna pretend this is a Battletech miniature because he's next up on my list anyway. He needs the same treatment. Give it to him really quick. Nothing to see here. Only a Battletech miniature. This is a little bit of a spoiler for what'll be Why Won't You Focus? What'll be one of the next projects on the table, most likely. Okay, so those are all good to go. I'm always trying something a little bit different. Today, I'm gonna try some orange, yellow contrast paint. If I like it. I feel like the orange is too dark, so let's see what it looks like when I apply it. That might work. I think if I just go in and then I'm going to add a little bit of bright yellow paint when that dries, that actually might look pretty good. Okay. Yellow going into here. Probably not bright enough for that one. But probably will look fine when I go in with some brighter yellow. All right, next. One's just some little spots. It's not going to be as easy to notice. And do yellow on one side, orange on the other. Together in the middle. All right. And orange on the other side. And I'm going to let those two just decide how they want to share the space there while they dry. And from there, next up, here's one of the first ones. Pretty close to being dried up. That is the big drawback to contrast paint, is it takes quite a while to dry. It is a very liquid. But that's also one of the benefits, because it will get into all the spots you need it to. Okay, so now we're gonna do just a little bit of warp lightning green. Probably more than a little bit of contrast medium. Thin this really far out. And we're going to use this for the medium lasers, which tend to be green in, at least in video game circumstances. And that applies to this mech here. He's got one of them on his arm. And so you noticed earlier we did the white. Go in and drop green into those. So those are a nice bright green. And when that dries, I'll probably go through and add like a little teeny tiny bright dot in the center. Now we've got and I'm going to do a similar effect with the blue. So this is Talisar blue. It is really bright. It's a really pretty blue. Go in with some contrast medium, a bunch of it. Drop of this blue in there. And the first thing we're going to do is just drop some of that barrel and see how it looks. These up almost like a plasma chamber on like a Space Marine because I can. And then I think what I'm going to do, now that I've looked at it, I'm going to go back to yellow orange and I'm going to do part of that arm as heat sinks. Blue in there, so it might not. YOLO. Okay, any weapons I missed? That one. Add another layer of really bright white and whitish blue. Do something with that thing. It looks awful. Okay. Some white. Add that titanium white, a little bit of this blue. Pop it right in the very center. Oops. Okay. Like that. Let's see. Somewhere I missed gray on this. This end part of painting is always fun. Always find like a million. Time for some popcorns. Sure, you can do it. Got there. I'll do the same. Sorry, you're probably seeing my head and not. But I have teeny tiny little dots that I gotta paint. Right, done. Noticed. This is why at the end of projects I end up with a whole table. You can't see it, but my whole table is covered with paint pots right now. Always these spots you miss. You know, I gotta go back and do this. I gotta go back and do that. I gotta go back and do that, and then rinse and repeat. Like a freaking million times. Okay, they're all coming along pretty good. I like that. Where'd my white paint go? White, a little bit of green in that white. Now we're gonna do the inside. Lasers. Pour some paint balls. Okay, those are done. And honestly, the direction those are pointed, probably no one will ever see them, but darn it, I know they're done. This is what matters. Okay, well, let that all settle. We are gonna do some one-step orange. And probably some crimson. I think that's what I was using for the bases the other day. I feel like I shouldn't have my palette right under the lamp because you can't see much. Do that, can you? And recently I've really been liking this one step for doing my basing because it just covers so well. Sometimes with the base textures, like it's hard to take the thicker paint. You gotta actually wet it down so much it can break. That's my experience. So I really like the one step for doing this. At least for the base coat, then we'll dry brush everything else. And just working through these while we let some other stuff dry. Oh, I hope I got enough paint. I'm not sure. Okay, initial base coat is done. Okay, so that's done. Oh, you know what? Now we're gonna go in. We're gonna really quick take, while this is drying, we're gonna do a quick reset. Put some stuff away. My million grays. Old red. Do I need any of these greens out anymore? I don't think so. Hey. Okay, we're all reset now. Next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna take a really bright yellow. This one here, a little bit of warm yellow. And we're just gonna go in and add some little dots into the heat effect stuff here that I was doing. Maybe. I like it. I think we're almost done. Oh, I need to do some of this bright yellow on his arms. Okay, finally found a spot I like how it looks. About time. Okay. A little bit more. White, yellow in there. I think I'm going to end up going back into those. Doing a little bit of like heat glow effect there. Really bright white highlight in the middle. Honestly, it's pretty small. Probably be hard to see, but I like it. I know it's there. Looks good to me. Okay, that one's done. Now, really quick. A little bit of this warm brown. A little bit of this tan flesh. All I want is something that's kind of a mid-tone. Oh, it was the warm flesh I used. All right, the warm flesh instead. On a woody tone here. I need to do. Better stop that before I get tempted to go through and re-highlight the whole thing. No, don't do it. Kind of doing this to bring some of the detail back out, make it look a little less messy. Okay. That looks fine. And then what did I say? Was it? Was spots that I missed. Let's hit those up. And then a little bit of this white, a little bit of this yellow. Nice and bright. Real sharp point. Okay, now we're gonna move on to some dry brushing for the bases. Honestly, I think we can use that tan flesh we've already got out there. So what we'll do is we'll take some of this tan flesh, put it in some of this red we've got over here. Get it nice and dry. Drag it across. Base. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then the last one is just that straight tan flesh. Just a little more. All right. Next, just a super quick run with some black paint. Full black will be perfect. But it'll be all right. is one of the most satisfying parts of painting a miniature. Like really, literally once this is done, I could say, yep, all over, we finished. I of course won't, because it's me and I must do more, but you could easily call yourself done right here. Yuck. Ain't splody. All right. You know what? I'm gonna switch to the right brush. This is the right brush. All right, so let's lay these all out here. That's where we're all at. We've got, or actually 5. We've got the whole star represented. The only thing we haven't done is finish the bases and do the decals. But we've officially hit the point where my back told me something else, and so I'm gonna listen to it. So what do we got? We've got Gladiator, nice heat glow effect. I could do a little bit more on the stripe, but I think I'm gonna leave it like it is. I think it's just like leaving it kind of nice and bold. I might add some highlights to that. There's the Phoenix Hawk 2C. Really been fun experimenting with the layering technique. That was a big part of why I started this project, was to get some more practice there. Focus on my face. Trying to manipulate the camera here. Come on, camera. And finally, we'll just put everything but. I forgot to paint one of his pens, but luckily I kept the paint, so we'll do that really quick. Might not be liquid enough anymore. All right, well that'll get some green eventually, when I remember. Alright, so that's what we're going to call it for today. Thanks all for being here. I appreciate the comments and the encouragement. I'm going to get some decals on these, and I'll get them posted online. So we'll see. I don't know if I'll stream the decals or not, so we will see about that. But Cranston, thanks for being here. Hey, I forgot to tell you, I hope your Solaris Arena fight went well. That was this last weekend, wasn't it? Or the weekend before? Or is it next weekend? Next weekend is what it is. Never mind. Time is hard. For some reason I was thinking Gen Con was just this last weekend, but now that I think about it again, it wasn't. Alrighty, well, hopefully I will catch you again soon, and if not, have a good one, and take it easy. "9 days. Yeah, you got some time. See ya.